This video shows you how to assemble the birdhouse in Advanced CAD for Engineers. So it's part 8A105. So this part is already fully assembled, and you have to recreate that full assembly here. It's pretty intuitive what you need to do for the most part in terms of how you would build the birdhouse. So one thing I might suggest is that you turn on, under the View tab, the shaded with edges so that you can see where the edges come to on the assembled birdhouse. Once you do that, it's apparent that these upper walls sit on the floor of the birdhouse. So what you can do is constrain the surfaces just like you would in a real birdhouse, and keep working down so you get all your parts fully constrained. You can see that's not the one I want, so I'm going to flip that. And there we go. If we keep hitting apply, this window stays open, so you don't have to keep opening it every time. So this one, same kind of thing. I think that just flipped it backwards. Yes, it did. You might need to zoom in a bit. And you lose track of where you are sometimes, like I'm doing here. Here we go. Always hit apply. And now the last one here. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing. I just want you to see a couple things. So now what I want you to see is to constrain the roof down to this surface. A couple of things that are pretty apparent, so you can click there in this angled surface, and that puts that on top. But now to constrain it front to back, I want it to be centered along this part, or along the whole birdhouse. So I'm going to hit OK here just so that that window goes away. I should have edited that because you can see I have this flipped wrong. So let me go back into that. This is like a chronological list of all the mates that I've created. So you can see the last one is the one that I want to edit. So I'm going to right click and say edit. And I'm going to flip this. And so now it's sitting on top like I want it to. I cannot constrain it in this direction currently, the up and down, because I need the other. Actually, let me just put that one on so that it becomes more obvious. So I'm going to constrain this piece here. Let me make sure I got it right this time. Yep. And hit apply. And now I'm going to constrain not the edges, but the surface. And here you can even constrain this edge to this edge. Obviously, they need to be flush. Now you can do the edges. The only reason I don't like to do the edges first is because it creates a point contact, which means it can hinge around it. I'm not sure I got that right. Let me show you something. So if I grab this and try to move it, you can see that they slide. So what you want to do is get the two edges, which I'm not sure that I'm getting. There, now I got an edge. There. I think before I just got a surface to an edge, which doesn't work. All right. But now you'll see the only way that this roof can move is front to back. All right, so it can go this way to that way. But to fix it in the middle, you'd have to either find the correct distance, or what I like to do is create work planes in the part. So I'm going to create a work plane in the middle of this side piece and a work plane in the middle of the roof. So to do that, you double click on the part itself. You cannot just go up and create a work plane, otherwise it'll be on the assembly level. So now you know how to do this, mid-plane between two planes, and you just pick the two end planes. And now I have one in the middle. You hit return to get out of that part. Same thing here. I'm going to double click. Hit return. And now you can see I have, let me try to move this. They're still moving because I've not actually constrained it yet. So I'm going to hit constrain, and then I'm going to pick the two work planes that I just created. And you have to toggle between these two to see which one works. And now I'm going to hit apply. And now the roof is fully constrained, as is the side and every other part I put down. I'm not going to put the back and the other side on because you know how to do that. The only other thing I want to show you is the perch. So you can constrain the perch onto the front surface. You also want to create a work plane here. I'm going to hit escape. Again, double click to edit, mid-plane. And the nice thing is when you're editing this part, it's only going to pick surfaces that are on that part. Return. And now you can see I have two work planes, so I'm going to constrain those. Doesn't matter if it's upside down because it's the same on both sides. But now to set the distance, you need to know the offset. So you can measure using tools and measure the distance from here to here, and then, to the bottom, and then recreate that on yours by using the offset. I'm going to leave you to do that. I think at this point you should be able to take over, and that's it.